The PGA Championship rolls into Oklahoma, and we do a special event. Diamond Diehards is on. Joe Rizzo here bringing you golf once again today. As we continue our special events, we started it out with the Masters. We did the NFL Draft. We did the Kentucky Derby. And the returns have been good. So now we will continue it with the PGA Championship. And that means we will bring back Mike Appelbaum, who did such a great job for us the last time. And I think that there might be two more of these in the offing with Apple as we get through the golf season. Follow us at Diamond Diehards everywhere on social media. And if you are checking us out on Apple Podcasts, hit that follow or subscribe button. Spotify as well, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube, the Facebook group, wherever it is. We need your support at Diamond Diehards. So, Apple, here we are. We did pretty good the last time, and now the pressure's on for the PGA. And of course, you have the picture in the back of the course. I'm not. Is that the 17th hole or the 18th that you have
Uh,
up there?
yeah, it would be the 18th going up to the clubhouse.
Okay, so you got the 18th hole, and they're in Oklahoma. Hopefully, there's not going to be a dust bowl in Tulsa. I think the weather's supposed to be good, and we have a few things going on there. They not the return of Tiger Woods, but there's a little bit more expectation of him, and um, he made it through 4 rounds of the Masters, but how is he going to do? The expectations I think are up now a little bit for the PGA. What do you think?
That's right. And I think people showed that he could play some good golf, or they saw that he could play some good golf in the Masters. But it's also a course that he particularly knows well and excels on. I think you know probably pretty expected. It was tough for him to string together 4 good rounds in a row, as he's still kind of recovering from his leg issues.
That was the thing. He went 78-78 on the last 2 days of the Masters after making the cut. He has arduous off the links regimens to get himself ready. Of course, he's got the resources to have a team to help him do that, but that doesn't make it any easier. Um, for my money here, I look. I figure he'll probably make the cut again. Whether that then is going to result in a top 10 finish, I'm not yet convinced. I feel like more the Open Championship at St. Andrews. I still like to call it the British Open because, I mean, if everybody called their championship the Open Championship, like they could do it. So to me, it's still the British Open. Um, I feel like when it comes to that one, he's going to be a little bit more ready to compete for a top 10 finish and a trophy. I just don't think he's quite there yet, even though he says he's feeling a lot better and he's got the competitive juices going. So I'm going with make the cut, but not top 10. What do you got?
Yeah, I agree with that. Even for Tiger Woods, it's tough to only play a couple tournaments a year and come in, you're really crisp and really threaten and compete. I think the Masters a little bit of a different story because he knows it so well and has had so much success there. Sets up well for his game, and then I'd say the Open Championship, perhaps has a chance there as well since it's a familiar setting. But this week, I think he'll make the cut. Be surprised if he does much better than the top 20.
Okay. The favorite is the Masters champion, Scottie Scheffler. Um, he, along with Rory McIlroy, are at the time that we're doing this are the favorites. I'm using DraftKings for the moment. I'm using their odds. So it's Scheffler and McIlroy are both plus 1200 here. Um, is Scheffler the favorite on this like monster long course where it's kind of funny. Like I'm watching, I'm listening to the pundits out there, and I mean the length of this course is just crazy. But everybody's talking about, well, it's going to be the short game players that are the ones that are putting for dough at the end. So maybe you could explain where Scheffler fits into that and why on a long course, it's not just favoring the heaviest hitters.
Yep. So yeah, Southern Hills has historically been pretty punitive around the greens. A lot of slope on those greens. I think for Scheffler, he's kind of showed that he can excel on a course like that. Just going back to Augusta, Augusta isn't the longest course, but really where you win or lose is around the greens there. So I think he's kind of already proven he can do it. He hits it more than long enough to play on a long course as well. So I think he's really well positioned. He's probably still the hottest player out there. So not surprising. He's definitely one of the favorites.
Is that your pick? Well, actually, no. Hold on. We'll do picks at the end. There. How did I do there? Did I tease it well enough? Um, we will get to the picks as we move along here, previewing the PGA Championship and another one of our Diamond Diehard special events. If you're used to baseball here, that's good. That's good. We're just branching out, doing some other sports when special events come along. We did the Masters, as we said at the top of the show, and that was very well received. So I think we're going to do all four majors as long as our wonderful Mike Appelbaum is available. Um, Phil Mickelson, defending champ, not here. A lot of controversy. So this is one where if you're on a golf podcast, this is a rabbit hole, right? But since you're not, you have to give like sort of the 1 minute summary of why he's not here. Is it important and what does it mean, right? So the controversy is everything to do with away from the golf course where Phil is making deals and making some comments, and there's this Saudi Arabian tour, and he was part of it and then he wasn't part of it, and he sort of trashed the way that the PGA did things, and Tiger Woods even came out in his press conferences and was saying that wasn't really where his mind was, and he hasn't spoken to Phil about it, and Phil just opted out of showing up here to the PGA. What does it mean? Is it really that bad for the game? As long as Tiger's there, I feel like it's like a big deal to the golf diehards, but to the non-diehards, it's a little bit of a deal, but it's not going to keep them from watching because Tiger's there.
That's right. I think Tiger's kind of proven to be the one person in all of golf that moves the needle no matter what. You just look at people watching his practice rounds alone. Phil is loved by a lot of people, but just will never move the needle the way Tiger does, and only Tiger does.
And it's amazing. I think he's up to 14 or 15 months off of the terrible car accident that broke his leg, and he had some other various injuries, and he did play, as he put it, the Everest. He climbed Everest for his first real tournament pack, and he says everything else is like it's like flatter ground as he keeps playing these other tournaments. So he figured he's going to get better and stronger, but there's always setbacks, and there's a lot of work to be put in, and nobody ever really outworks Tiger, but certainly they're hoping that at least he makes the cut and he's around for a couple of days, and if he's up on the leaderboard there, that's going to send ratings through the roof, and also keep interest for the Open Championship in about 5 weeks. You and I will be watching anyway, but maybe some of our Diamond Diehards people and followers are just, they wouldn't maybe turn on a golf tournament otherwise, but now they're going to check this show out and be like, oh, you know what? Like, I noticed it a little bit this weekend. It's pretty cool stuff. Jordan Spieth, career slam on the line. There's, I don't know how much of a tennis guy you are, but a lot of times people who know golf know a little bit about tennis. He reminds me so much. He's like the Andre Agassi of the PGA Tour, where he's such a good all-around player. He's not really mentioned in that like upper echelon of the greats. Like, he wasn't as good as like Pete Sampras, but like Agassi was such a well-rounded player. He won the tennis Grand Slam for the career. I think he had 7 career Grand Slams, but he won all 4, and it's a rare feat in tennis, and it's a rare feat in golf. And Jordan Spieth is among the second favorites here at plus 1400 with John Rahm. It's huge if he gets a career slam because there's just not many players out there that have done it at all. What do you think of Spieth this weekend?
I like Jordan a lot this week. Looks like he's finally comfortable with his rebuilt swing. Went through some swing changes. Really fell off in the rankings, but he's come all the way back. He's playing really good golf lately, and he definitely is one that I think will be in contention come the weekend.
Okay. Can he win? Yes, certainly he can
Yes,
win. I think that's
def,
not
def,
even.
def, definitely can win. Is he ready to win this week with the new swing? Maybe, but I think he's definitely going to be in the mix.
I feel like the place to work out your new swing is on a nice long course, right?
Yeah, yeah, he'll look. He'll it'll definitely be a test for him. I also like that Spieth historically has had a really good short game. So that could play well here. Although Spieth has also missed some, his putting's been a little bit dicey for on short putts, believe it or not, lately. So that could end up being the difference for him.
Okay, let's talk for a second before we make the picks and wrap it up. We'll talk about this the featured groups thing, and there's stuff going on in the background that's a little, we always call it inside baseball, which is a great term when you have a baseball podcast and you apply it to other things abound, right? It's like, oh, there's inside baseball in golf, yeah, there's inside baseball in everything in the world. So featured groups, they're talking behind the scenes about possibly this being another way to compensate golfers on the PGA Tour. And this gets back to a little bit of the stuff that Mickelson and Tiger have been talking about off the course, where are you going to start remunerating players for things other than their performance? And in this case, the first group on Thursday, May 19th at 9:11 a.m. is Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and Jordan Spieth. That's like you can't get better than that. How could you not be watching that if you have a passing interest in golf? I mean, you're totally blowing off your your 9 o'clock Zoom call for that one. Did you got it up on another screen on a browser? I mean, that like should these guys get maybe we don't have to really get a deep dive into should these guys get paid for being in featured groups, but that's a big deal for McIlroy and Spieth to be in there with Tiger, right, as opposed to just like whatever the draw is. It's designed this way.
Yeah, they went with the total crowd pleaser for the pairing on Thursday, Friday with that group.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm not d- don't know about getting paid for that, but I think all this noise on the Saudi League might ultimately lead to some changes on the PGA Tour.
I mean, that would be sort of a low-hanging fruit if you were doing that. And, but if you were one of the non-featured players and, you want to hustle your way into that featured group, um, what do you have to do to be there? Do you have to just keep winning tournaments? Do you have to have more personality? It's kind of there's definitely a gray area there. And do featured groups and featured players change from tournament to tournament, or is it like always the same 9 guys, right? Like the other featured group is 2:14 p.m. Dustin, this is Eastern time. So if you're actually at the tournament, you're on Central time. This is Eastern time. 2:14 p.m. Dustin Johnson, Patrick Cantlay, Justin Thomas, and then 2:36 p.m. Scottie Scheffler, John Rahm, and Colin Morikawa. So that's the diehards group right there. Like if you're a passing golf fan, the 9:11 a.m. group is the one that you have to see. If you're a diehard or you're watching it or you have money in it, those last two groups, especially the last one, are the ones that you are not going to miss. And then those times, not exactly, but they flip on Friday, May 20th for the second round. Dustin Johnson, Patrick Cantlay, and Justin Thomas at 8:49 a.m. Eastern. 9:11 Eastern is Scottie Scheffler, John Rahm, Colin Morikawa, and then 2:36 Eastern in the afternoon. Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and Jordan Spieth will be on there to boost up the afternoon ratings for sure. That's why they that's why they did that. They are very handily crafting those things over there. So we'll see if that leads to them getting paid a little bit differently rather than just on performance. All right, Apple. To wrap it up, your pick to win. And if you have anything else to add, you can pick more than one guy to win because it's golf. And then we like to pick a winner and then somebody who you might think could come out of the clouds as a long shot. Who do you got?
So I'm going with this week. I'm going with Rory McIlroy. As much as I like Scottie Scheffler and his momentum, I'm going with Rory. Rory's been close, playing good golf, and his short game's been really good lately. So obviously he hits the ball a mile, but his short game's been really good. So I'm going Rory.
Okay. My pick is going to be John Rahm here. I like his all around game. I think he's like perfectly suited for this course. I mean, he's perfectly suited for like a lot of courses, but particularly this one. I like Rahm's skill set. He's been out of the main part of the spotlight here for a little bit, and yeah, I think maybe that we've forgotten quite how good he is. I mean, Vegas is installing him as a tie for the third favorite technically. So he's not, you're not getting super odds on him. But I think John Rahm is ready to take the Wanamaker here. Now we're talking about somebody from the clouds. I don't know how we characterize that. Like, do we have to, what are the odds of a long shot in a golf tournament? I don't really know. To me, like everybody's practically a long shot. But I know you were cooking up somebody from the
Yeah.
back end. Who you got?
So I like going off right now. He's at 10,000 to 1. Billy Horschel. Yeah, I think he's been playing good golf. He's someone that I think could make a run for it. He's shown up in some good, some pretty big tournaments. So not sure that's a deep long shot, but I doubt he's on many people's lists.
I like that pick. I always like your picks coming out of nowhere. My out of nowhere pick for the Masters was Charles Schwartzel, and he nabbed me a top 10 and gave backers a thrill because he was right in the mix. By the way, I didn't like the way that I had to share his odds. They were less because he was tied for 10th with like three people, so I only got like a partial payout of that. So I was a little pissed at DraftKings for that, but I learned my lesson. My out of the clouds pick is going to be Justin Rose. He's plus 8,000, which I believe equates to. I think that's really like 80 to 1 when we put it down. Let me just double check that. Yeah, that's like 80 to 1. Uh, Justin Rose has a knack for showing up in these things. And I didn't like the way he played in the Masters at all, but I feel like he's a good rebound candidate. He's not one of these guys that, like, if you look at his career, he's not one of the, like, some of these players, Apple, like, they have to be on a roll for them, to even be in consideration. Justin Rose is like the roller coaster guy. Like, he could be horrible in one tournament, miss the cut, and then he comes back in the next, and he's like at the leaderboard. You're like, where did this guy come from? And then you're like, oh, it's Justin Rose. So Justin Rose is going to be a guy that I pick from out of the clouds. Any other final thoughts?
Now, look, I think this one's going to be really exciting because there's a lot of really good players playing well that will be in the mix. So, you know, I'm sure we'll have some sort of surprise on our hands come Sunday.
All right. So you got the picks here: Rory McIlroy and Billy Horschel for Apple, and I go with John Rahm and Justin Rose as my long shot. I can never get off Xander Schauffele. I think he also suits up well for this course, as he's a good short game guy. So I'm gonna throw him into my parlay thingy or whatever. I'm throwing Schauffele in there. I'm using him in horse racing terms. So that's my final thought. Okay, that will wrap it up. The great Mike Appelbaum helps us out once again when it comes to the golf links, and we appreciate that very much. Once again, follow us on social media at Diamond Diehards everywhere you can find it, and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Facebook. You'll find us everywhere at Diamond diehards. For Mike Appelbaum, this is Joe Rizzo. Diamond Diehards is out.